Okay, so there's a lot of confusion about whether Logic has the ability to assign specific external controllers to specific tracks. And I think there's some misunderstanding. So very quickly, here's a brief video demonstrating how it's done. So I have 3 MIDI controllers in front of me. And those 3 MIDI controllers are both set up to transmit on channels 2, 3, and 4 respectively. I have autodemix turned on in Logic, and I have all 3 of those tracks assigned to each of their respective instruments using the track inspector over here to the left. So the tone wheel is assigned to MIDI channel 2, the heavy metal guitar is MIDI channel 3, and the beatnik guitar is MIDI channel 4. This normally is an output channel. Okay, so when autodemix is not enabled, this is only used for the output subsystem. But when autodemix is enabled, what it does is it routes MIDI input whose channels are pre-configured and matches the output track MIDI channels to route them to their respective instrument objects. So let me demonstrate what I mean by this. So now I'll go to the first MIDI controller. By the way, these have to be all record enabled when you do this. So they have to be record enabled. So when I go to the first one, and I'm going to also introduce pitch bend so you can see it applies to the CC data or any MIDI data that comes in as well. So there's the first, and there's a little pitch bend on that. Now I'm going to go ahead to the second MIDI controller, which is transmitting on MIDI channel 3. Now I'm going to go to the third MIDI controller, which is on MIDI channel 4. And you'll also see that it doesn't matter which track I select. As I move and I select different tracks, it still stays on MIDI channel 4, which is the beatnik guitar. If I go back to the tone wheel controller I'm using, you'll see that no matter which track I select. So that's how it works. When you record, what happens is all of the recordings will initially appear as though they're being recorded on the selected track, but as soon as you press stop, if there's a matched channel that you have configured with autodemix on, it will automatically appear and pop down to those particular tracks, including any CC, pitch bend, mod data, etc. So let me demonstrate. So here's MIDI channel 2, which is my first MIDI controller. Here's MIDI channel 3, which is my second controller. And here's MIDI channel 4, which is my third controller. Now I'll go ahead and press stop, and they'll pop right into place. And there you go. Now, if these were external MIDI tracks, this one will be transmitted back out through external MIDI channel 2, channel 3, and channel 4. So it doesn't matter. The same principle applies whether these are internal software instrument tracks or these are external MIDI tracks. So I hope that at least shows those that believe that this can't be done in Logic, that in fact it can be done. And just take a minute and read and understand what autodemix does and how it works. And I think you'll find this incredibly valuable and solve a lot of the frustrations that people have with regard to being able to assign external MIDI controllers to individual specific tracks.